Okay guys, we're down to our last couple of lessons in C# to finish up the course. And what I want to do today is take that basketball player that was bouncing and have him move right across the screen. What you're looking at right now is the day plans that you should have near you as you go through these lessons. So what we're going to do today is more animation basics, and we're going to move that flipbook example, that basketball player that we did before. Then I'm going to show you some sample possible games you might want to do. And then I'm going to wrap it up and do some sound effects. And then basically for the next couple of weeks until past Christmas, you're going to be working on your game. Okay, our base of operations today is in 3' animation. Okay, and inside of there's a program called using left top, and then in there is a program called moving flipbook. So that's the one we're going to use, moving flipbook. Alright, so make sure you realize where it is. Okay, so here is the actual program, and what we're going to do today is take a picture and put it into that little box right there, and that's a picture box. So if you forget what a picture box is, you slide down and it's this thing right here. Okay, now picture box is usually you put a picture in there, but we're going to do it slightly different, right? We're going to have it on our hard drive in that bin debug folder, and we're going to feed it into there. And that's the whole process. Now before we can do that, this thing that's going to hold our picture is going to move across the screen. But how do we tell the computer, hey, if you're at 7 over, now go to 8 over or 9 over? Well, see that little square at the top left corner? That's where everything is based. So from that corner, you go over and down. So if you had to think of it, go over, let's say that was 50, and go down 50. So that's where that corner is right now. And actually, if you look down here, it's actually at 42 and 48. So 42 over and 48 down. And as I move it across the screen, this is just for fun to see how the numbers change. Look how it is now. It's 212 and 47. So see the X number is first and the Y number is second. It keeps moving, and then it goes and goes and goes until you get to the edge of the screen. Now, don't depend on these numbers. I just showed them to you so you get a rough idea. We're going to have the computer work this all out, and you guys could change this program so if it's a lot wider, you should be able to handle it. Okay, so don't focus on the numbers. Focus on the general technique we're going to use. Okay, here's how this program works. It's kind of cool. We're going to press run, and there's our basketball player dribbling the ball, but he's staying still right now. I'm going to press the start button, and he's moving across the screen. He's going, he's going, he's going. And no, he stopped at the wall. Good. How did I do that? Well, we got to figure that out. Let's take a look. So first of all, the first timer is the one we learned the day before. What you do there is you're going to feed pictures into the computer. Now, where are these pictures being fed? Where is everything? Let's go into the underground. We'll double click. Okay, let's review some stuff from yesterday. This is the new thing we started doing yesterday. That's called an image array. And I have 7 pictures, but you always make it one more, right? And my pictures are going to start at 1. So I've got a picture called dribble 1, dribble 2, dribble 3, all the way to 7. So that's what you do at the beginning of your program. Then in form load, and remember how you do form load? You just double click on this and it takes you into the form load. I have a loop that goes from 1 to 7, and I load in all my pictures. And we did that the day before, right? And then these 2 lines I didn't really explain to you before. All I do is take the first picture and put it in the picture box at the very beginning. That's like the starting picture. Okay, let's slide down a bit. Now, the day before we had a timer. Remember, it's those things that look like a stopwatch. So I'll go down to here. All right, and when you drag one of those on there, they don't go on the screen. They go down here. All right, and this is a timer. This is the first one we did the day before. And all this does is take the image in the array, and count is a 1, so it takes the first picture and feeds it into the picture box, okay, which is this thing right here. Then after a couple of seconds or less, depending on your timer, all right, it feeds in the next one and the next one and the next one. How's it getting to the next one? This thing right here. So if the count is 1, this makes the count 2, then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then eventually it'll make it 8, and you go, whoa, I don't have an 8. So if you're bigger than 7, put yourself back to 1. So that's a review of what we did last class. So what's the trick today? Well, the trick today is to make a second timer. All right, so you drag another timer. This timer has an interval of 100, so it's fairly fast. And what this timer is going to do is every time I come back to this timer, I'm going to take this box here and I'm going to move it a little bit, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. Okay? Now the way that you move it is you have to use one of two words. See that top corner I told you about? If you want to go across, that's going to be dot left. And if you want to go down or up, it's going to be dot top. Let's take a look at exactly what I'm doing. So every 100 over 1,000, which is a tenth of a second, I'm going to take the picture player. Okay, now where did I get that from? That's this box right here. That's pick player. And what I'm going to do is wherever his left is, I'm going to add 5 more to it. So basically what happens is you're shifting them over to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right. Okay, now here's the most important part. This is kind of tricky. The whole screen, when you run it, watch how it's stopped. Depends on what you make your screen size. So that's why I don't want you to ever use a number. What I want you to do is figure out the screen size using this word here, this dot width. That's the width of the screen. So how do you know when to stop them? Well, tell you the truth, probably a lot of you, if you didn't really think this out, would do the following. Watch. If the left player, that's where he is at any moment in time, is greater than the width, turn the timer off. Well, let's see. If I do that, watch what happens. He goes through, and then he does eventually stop, but you don't see him. So you want him to stop a bit earlier. So basically what you want to do is not stop when his total left side is through the edge of the screen. What you want to do is figure out his left side plus how fat he is. And the way that you figure out how fat he is you go player dot width. Alright? So his left side plus how fat he is will really actually be his right side. And you want that to hit the wall. You don't want him to go through the wall. Okay, you see how it stops? Now, once you get good at that, you can do all kinds of stuff. You want them to go backwards? Go ahead. We're going to put it as a minus. Now, this changes though, right? So when we go backwards, we're going to go like this. So if pick left is less than or equal to, now what's the corner? Well, it's going to be 0. All right, now let's move this over here though, because if he's going to go backwards, we want him to start on that side. So watch. Watch him go backwards now. So he's hanging over on the right hand side, and now he's going the other way. Alright, and we want him to stop when he hits the wall. So we're fairly close. Now you're going, sir, you messed up. Why didn't it hit the wall? Because when I drew this guy, I had some white space here. I should have made it like right against his body. But there's like a big rectangular box all the way around. So this is really the left side, as stupid as it looks. Okay, how about up and down? It's not a problem. If you want to go up and down, here's what you do. Instead of saying dot left, you use this new thing called top. Now the way that you go down is you add. Okay? And now, now we got to fix all this too. If you want to see when he hits the ground, you're going to say pick player dot top plus pick player dot height is greater than this dot height. Okay, so in this one, you've got the player, the top of his head, all right, plus how tall he is. If that's greater than the height, you're basically at the bottom of the screen. Let's see if that works. It's kind of cool. You're doing all the different combinations. Let's see what happens on this one. So he goes down, 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 and stops fairly close. It's off by a little tiny bit. There are other techniques that give you dead-on results, but for our class in grade 10, that's fine. All right, let's do the reverse. Okay, just make sure you know every combination. So we'll move it down here. It doesn't matter where, but we'll move them down. We're going to make them go up. All right, to make them go up, you subtract. Okay, so you go like that. And again, you got to think about how this one works. So this one, if this top of his head is less than or equal to 0, because the top is 0, then we're good. Let's try it out. So now he's at the bottom and he goes up. Isn't that cool? And he's going to bang his head right there. Okay, and again, remember I got this box, so it's not dead on, but that's pretty good. Let's try a couple of other combinations. How about make him go across again like we did before? Okay, so we're going to use that, not top, but we're going to go back to left. and plus equals 5, so he's going to go across. And this one here, what we're going to do is we're going to say pick player dot left plus pick player dot width is greater than or equal to the width of the screen, and that has to be in capitals. Then we're going to do something else. Now this time what I want to do is I want to make them bounce the other way. How would I do that? Let's see. I want to make them bounce the other way. I'm not going to turn the timer off this time. Like usually we've always stopped the timer. I guess I could say the following. So pick player dot left. Let's see now. I want the direction to go different, right? So here's what we're going to have to do. See how it always goes by +5? I got to change that so it goes -5. I got an idea. Let's go up to the top. We're going to create a new variable, and it's going to be called integer direction, and we're going to start it off at 1. Okay, so see where it's +5? Instead of that, we're just going to make it direction. So when we get to the wall, watch what I'm going to do. It's kind of weird. Direction equals minus direction. So direction's a number. It starts off at 1. So the computer's going to go by 1, by 1, by 1, by 1. Eventually it hits the wall. When it does, it's going to say make the direction -1. Sounds promising. Let's give it a try. Alright, and actually, you know what I got to do first? I'm going to make them start over here so that it looks nice. Okay, now we're going to make them go across. Oh, that's really super slow. I made it +1. I should have made it more like 5 or something like that. Actually, let me stop it and see where it says direction dr. Let's make it like 5 at least. That makes it fairly fast. Okay, let's give it a run. There it goes. It's going, it's going, it's going. It's going to bounce. Yes, and it goes the other way. So now you got them bouncing and going the other way. Isn't that cool? Now this one, it's going to go through the wall because I don't have an if statement for that one. So you'd have to have an if statement for hitting one wall and going in a direction, hitting the other wall and going in a direction. So that's kind of neat. So those are all the different things you can do, how you move around in different directions, and how it can be used to simulate animation in a particular game. Now you're going to use this idea actually to do something like a car race game or some sort of race between two things.